Hi, this is John from Chicagoland area. Welcome to my channel. I ride about 8 to 9,000 miles per year, and today I'm going to do a review of my Crux or my Specialized Diverge Pro. And I bought this back in last spring. I have about, it's been over 6 months, and I have about 3,300 miles on it so far. And I also have a Crux that I bought a year and a half ago, and I have about 9,000 miles on that. So my two gravel bikes I really have been enjoying, and it's the trend in the industry as people go to gravel bikes. The Specialized Diverge Pro, this is the 2022 model. It comes with a mountain bike derailleur on the rear, which will take up to a 10 by 52 cassette. The one that comes with it is a 10 by 50, and it's the SRAM's medium grade, which is your force equivalent, and this is the X01 derailleur. And in the front it has a 42 tooth chain ring. I guess the one now or newer models come out with a 40, which I think would be a little bit better fit, gives you a little bit lower gearing. The other thing I like about the Diverge is it has lots of attachment points for your backpacking. It has on the rear, I put a rack and I use panniers. And I've gone on two major backpacking trips with this so far. I did part of the Buckeye Trail in Ohio and came back on the Little Miami. I did a loop out of Cincinnati, I think around 450 miles this summer. And I also did the Pittsburgh to Washington, D.C. trip on the Gap and C&O Trail. So those are the two trips I've done so far, and I am coming up to signing up to do the Hurricane 300 in Florida this coming February. These tires I think are too narrow. They're 42 millimeter wide Pathfinders. I'm going to go up to a 55 millimeter tire. The specs say they only take a 47, but it looks like there's enough room for mud also to go up to a 50 on it. I definitely recommend, if you're buying a gravel bike now, you get a bike that will take up to 50 millimeter tires. I think that's the trend, is to go wider. By going wider, it'll handle mud a lot better. It'll float and handle sand better, and the wider tire gives you more suspension cush. So the wider tire, it hurts your road performance a little, but I have a Crux that I use for road riding. And this works pretty good on road. It's with the 42s with a smooth tread, it goes almost as good as the 38 millimeter wide tires that came with the Crux. I watched some videos on 50 millimeter gravel tires from Old Guy and Bike, and he recommended that I use the WTB Resolute 50 millimeter tires. And you can see here's a comparison of the Pathfinder Pro 42s, which really measure 44 millimeter wide, and the Resolute 50 millimeter tires that measure 48 millimeter wide. When I measure the chainstay distance where the tire goes, I get 64 millimeters. Then when I do the same thing on the front forks, I get 66 millimeters. I measured the tire clearance with the new tires, and I had 9 millimeters from the chainstay to the tire, and then I had 1 centimeter, which is 10 millimeters from the tire to the seat tube. And I also measured the front clearances, which were a little bit more than the rear. So the sizing of the tire, larger 50 millimeter tire, works good. I also weighed the tires, and the original tire, which is your Pathfinder Pro 42s, they weighed 533 grams, and the new tires, the WTB 50s Resolve, weigh 615 grams, which is 82 grams more. As far as speed goes, I rode my bike path. It's a 27-mile route that I do each day, and I rode that 4 times. And when I compared the times, my speed remained the same with the wider tire. It did not go up or down. As you can see, my trail I'm riding on is smooth gravel. It's referred to as champagne gravel. There are a few bumps or erosion pieces in it, but overall it's quite smooth. I think if we were in a lot chunkier gravel, the wider tire would be faster. I think the wider tire on road surfaces would be a little slower, and I think if you're going uphill, that extra weight's going to also slow it up a little bit. But overall, I was quite happy with the speed, and I'm really anxious to try out this wider tire a lot more. The WTB 50 tire measured 48 millimeters instead of the 50 millimeters. It's pretty typical that tires will measure a millimeter or two wider or narrower than what the label calls for. I'm using the specialized carbon rims that have an internal width of 25 millimeters. One of the things that I would probably do in the future might be to look at using something even a little bit wider. I think I could go up to a 52, a tire that measures 52 millimeter wide, but I really need to try this out over the next 6 months and see how I like it. There was one thing that I disliked on it a lot was mounting the tire. And before I bought it, I did look at some of the reviews, and there was one or two that said it was an easy tire to mount. Thing is, it really depends on your size of your rim, and the specialized rim must be a little large because these were extremely difficult to mount. I was able to mount one of the tires myself, but I needed my neighbor to help who worked at a bike shop to get the second one to mount. It's probably the rim diameter on Specialized might be larger. I don't know, but it was difficult to mount. So I think I would look for a different brand. Although I'm real happy with the rolling resistance on it. I think the small knobs on it will work good. They're spaced out on the sides quite a bit, so I don't think it's going to trap much mud. It's going to shed mud and when I'm running in muddy conditions. And the center tread or the center knobs are close together, so you're not getting any bouncing. When I rode on pavement, it was quiet. I heard a few people complain a little bit about noise, but I had none of those problems. But in summary, I really think it was worthwhile going with this wider tire. It'll make the bike more versatile on rougher terrain. And I also have the Crux that I use on smoother gravel and road pavement conditions. So if you have any questions or comments on this video, please list those below. And thanks for watching. This is John from Chicago area.